As diplomatic efforts continue to arrest the situation and provide a political roadmap to end the escalation, M23 advances in eastern Congo continue.
We are deeply concerned by the situation in South Kivu particularly, which remains very volatile, with credible reports that the M23 is moving rapidly towards the city of Bukavu. In addition, our colleagues in the peacekeeping mission say that there are reports of Rwandan Defense Forces cross-border movements in that direction. Clashes are continuing to be reported between the M23 and the Congolese armed forces and allied forces south of Minova in South Kivu. As a reminder, peacekeepers withdrew from South Kivu province in June of last year. Today, our colleagues are also concerned about humanitarian security risks, particularly interethnic conflict in the absence of UN peacekeeping forces in that area.
While in North Kivu, the situation continues to deteriorate.
In Goma, which is in North Kivu province, the situation remains tense and volatile, with occasional shooting continuing within the city. Water and electricity have been off for almost a week, and unexploded ordnance remains a serious obstacle to freedom of movement of people, humanitarians, and peacekeepers. The mission was able, however, to take a few reconnaissance patrols yesterday within the city to begin the process of assessing damage, and number of peacekeeping positions were able to be resupplied. The airport runway in Goma sustained significant damage in the recent fighting and remains non-operational. The peacekeeping mission is obviously operating in an extremely challenging environment and is being tested. However, their priorities remain the protection of the many civilians sheltering within its premises, as well as the protection of its own personnel and assets.
Earlier this week, a statement from the Rwanda Foreign Ministry said the ongoing conflict in eastern DRC was triggered by constant violations of the Angola-mediated ceasefire by Congolese armed forces. In coalition with the UN-sanctioned genocidal militia FDLR, European mercenaries, ethnic militias, Burundian armed forces, SAMI DRC, as well as MONUSCO troops. A claim we put to the UN spokesperson.
MONUSCO troops are not involved in ceasefire violations because they are not a party to the conflict. They are peacekeepers, right? It is a challenge to do their job right now because there's clearly no peace to keep. There is a political solution. There is a political roadmap, the Luanda process. And our efforts on the political end is to get the parties to re-engage and recommit to the commitments already made under that process.
A peacekeeping mission with a force intervention brigade that has an offensive mandate against armed militias operating in Congo, and that provides support to the DRC army and SAMI DRC's efforts to halt the territorial expansion of M23.
Force intervention brigade, they are there to be actively protecting civilians and enforcing our mandate. And I think what has been clear is that peacekeepers in the Democratic Republic of the Congo have many of them from your own country, have paid the ultimate price in the implementation of a mandate given to them by the Security Council of these United Nations.
The UN also indicating that humanitarian partners are beginning to move around the city of Goma to assess the damage to their warehouses in the wake of massive looting.
Dujarric also told us that the Congolese Red Cross, with support of the International Committee of the Red Cross, continued to remove numerous corpses throughout Goma to mitigate public health issues, with humanitarian partners having recorded and treated more than 1,000 injuries caused by weapons and explosive devices in Goma and other areas affected by violence. Hospitals in the city are said to be saturated by an influx of wounded people, while the World Health Organization says the risk of the spread of mpox, cholera and measles has increased due to the precarious situation on the ground. Shervin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.